Hey everyone, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. I'm glad that you're here and welcome to 2020. Happy New Year to you. One of the things that I think you should really consider when going into the new year is how you can improve on your systems and how you can improve on just keeping tighter controls over things that happen in your business. And one of the ways that you can do that is by taking control of your inventory and ordering. Staying on top of your inventory and ordering, it's one of the things that really helps you drive business success. Unfortunately, it's hard to keep that as accurate as we would like it. We end up with a lot of waste, and it takes a lot of time sometimes as well. So that's where our sponsor ODEKO comes in to help. Just consider ODEKO your virtual purchasing agent, taking care of this ordering and inventory for you. They use artificial intelligence to put your sales data to work, coupling past sales with local weather, events, and more to predict exactly what your cafe is going to need in the future. They have a more than 90% accuracy rate and save their clients tons of money and time. And also, they give them peace of mind because of this accuracy in inventory. When you go from one store to two stores and you worry about the systems that you've got to scale, ODEKO scales right along with your business. This is automated, centralized, and optimized ordering for your cafe or your cafes. And it really does take the pain out of the ordering and inventory process. So I would encourage you to try this out for yourself. Go to odeko.com/keys to the shop to give it a try and see how it makes ordering and inventory a breeze. Okay, so today I wanted to talk with you all about Trust-Cedit. And I'll start with a little bit of a story about a very expensive laptop that I bought back in like 2003 or something. I forget the exact year, but I really wanted a laptop. And the truth is that the laptop was not very expensive. It was like $700, but maybe that was expensive back then. But I wanted a laptop and I felt I needed to have one. And so in order to get it, you guessed it, put it on a credit card. And, I don't know if Dave Ramsey was around then, and I wasn't aware of that. I was a poor financial manager, obviously, because I did not have the money to even make the payments on this laptop. I was a barista at the time, and I was, paying too much in rent for an apartment in Ithaca, and it was not a good scene because after a couple of years, I was racking up some late fees. I was racking up some interest rates. In the end, this laptop ended up costing me somewhere like $2,000. I forget exactly what, but it was way more than twice the amount it actually cost. So I learned my lesson in that, and I didn't do anything like that again. It was a hard lesson to learn, and you know what it did to my credit? It really impacted my credit. I did not have good credit after that, and it took a while to build it up. And in order to build up my credit, what I needed to do was actually look at what I could buy and could reasonably pay off, and then consistently do that over and over again until I was able to basically, through my record, win the trust of the bank. So I have more I can put on my credit card, and whether or not you're an advocate for credit cards or not is not the point. The point is you gain trust over time as you show yourself trustworthy. In this case, with money, I was able to build credit by showing that I could pay back the money that I was lent on the credit card, basically. So it is in the store. It's the same thing with people. It's the same thing in the shop. When you as a manager or owner don't come through for your staff, you promise something and it doesn't come through. It can be as basic as like, I'm going to take care of, getting a new broom for the one that's basically falling apart and then not doing it. Okay. There's a ding against your credit right there. It can go all the way to not giving people their paychecks on time. Okay. Now, you might just be a poor financial manager, but that's not an excuse because people need their paycheck. That's a huge ding against your credit. And eventually, this process, basically, it looks like my expensive laptop. And what makes it expensive is that you get a lot of turnover. You get a lot of fees in the form of, staff that are not happy working there because they are in a place where they can't put their trust in you to follow through on your word. And so they start charging you for it, They start charging you by withdrawing, not being as enthusiastic about the brand or their work or customer service, or again, by leaving completely. There's a lot of stress and strife that comes with that. And then owners and managers wonder why we can't get people excited about being baristas. Why can't we get people on board with the vision and, excited to wear the company t-shirt and, stuff like that? It's because you haven't shown yourself trustworthy in the small areas in order to have them trust you in the big ones. So the moral of the story here is this. You need to be able to build up your trust credit with the staff by following through on things that you can follow through with. That requires you to be planful. It requires you to put more thought into what you promise. And that's really hard to do because we can get really enthusiastic about the business and our goals. And we often speak our goals as if they already existed. And there's a TED Talk, I forget who by, but maybe I'll link to it in the show notes. It basically says, don't tell people your goals, because when we say what we want to do, like in the new year here, oftentimes it's cathartic to just talk about what we want to do, and it robs us of the energy to actually follow through in doing it. So back to the broken broom, are you replacing that when you said you would? Are you actually getting that roll of tape on your way to Walgreens? Well, if you don't, that's going to be a check against your credit with your staff. And if you want to have people on board and excited to be there, represent the brand well, you need to be able to take care of them and follow through with the things that you say you're going to do in first the small ways and then in the larger ways. And that's going to build up a resiliency in your own administrative practice. And they're going to see that this is the type of place that really does look out for its employees in small and big, in large and small ways, and is not just giving empty promises, but is actually going to follow through with what they say. And people will give more credit to places like that, but they will leave places where they feel that management or ownership or whatever is just saying stuff and not following through. You want good trust credit, that's where it starts. And I think that going into the new year, maybe you are trying to improve your management style. Maybe you're trying to be a better boss. Don't get all grand and don't set super huge goals for this. Start in small ways. Don't underestimate how powerful that is for people, and build up from there. It takes a long time to undo sometimes the things that have been progressively building. But I've definitely seen it get turned around. And as I said at the end of this week's Encore episode, 10 Steps to Being a People First Leader, you've got to be patient with this kind of a process. Building credit takes time. Building trust credit with your employees takes time. But in the end, you're going to be thankful that you did it this way instead of just trying to fix everything in one fell swoop and kind of making things worse. This kind of a philosophy is really, I think, applicable to a lot of areas beyond just trust credit. Just starting small and working your way up, you can apply that to a lot of areas, And this may be appropriate for whatever you have on your New Year's goal list. So somebody that you might want to look up, actually, maybe one day I can have him on the show. I don't know. James Clear is an author, wrote the book Atomic Habits. That philosophy is basically breaking things down into these micro habits that build bigger habits. Basically the same thing as building credit with yourself and your personal habits. In this case, we're talking about employees. But maybe that's a good book for you to read this year. And who knows? Maybe I'll try to get him on the show. But anyway, I hope that you are able to build up your trust credit with your employees and that 2020 is an amazing year for you and your business. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.